ready to hear some noise tonight. You're just seconds away from Let's Go Blues Radio.
No doubt about it, eh? You're listening to Kurt, Bill, and Jeff on Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey fan podcast. Take it away, boys.
Come on, St. Louis hockey fans, stand up and cheer. The Blues are back strong. This is our year. It's the Blues' turn now.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Yeah, it's the Blues' turn now. With that Al McKinnon slap shot, you know we can't lose. We are St. Louis, the home of the Blues. Come on, St. Louis. Come on, St. Louis. Come on, St. Louis.
Let's do that hockey.
Come on, St. Louis. All over the hockey universe, the note is the news. Everybody's digging on the St. Louis Blues.
Welcome to Season 7, Episode 16 of Let's Go Blues Radio. We are live on Wednesday, October 10th, 2018. This is franchise episode number 149 all time. My name is Kurt Price. My Twitter handle is @KurtPrice. Bill Day and Jeff Ponder are here again. Bill Day's Twitter handle is @BillyBlueNote, and Jeff Ponder's Twitter handle is @JPonder94. If you want to send the show a tweet, send it to @LGBRadio, and we'll try to read that on the air. If you want to talk hockey live with us on the show, we'll open it up for listeners midway through the show. If you'd like to join us in studio, if you will, hopefully we have time for that. If not, you can chat along with us in the YouTube chat, and the link was tweeted out on Twitter. Or you can, like I said before, send us a tweet on the Twitters. Bill and Jeff. Boy, what a difference a week makes.
Where's the enthusiasm?
What happened? So please check out the letsgoblues.com shop and consider buying a reasonably priced shirt, mug, or sticker. All proceeds go back into supporting this show. What's the date, Jeff, of the Standard Ponley Mupp Memorial? Let me start that over. What is the date of the Stanley Ponder Cup Memorial Tournament? I've got like half a beer in me, and that's
It's gonna be a long night.
Yeah, I think so.
November 17th.
That's coming up.
Yes, it is. We've got about 5 weeks, and we actually still have not filled it, which is hockey players, we are the most procrastinatory people in the world. You guys remember playing in the men's leagues and hey, all right, your money's due by week 2, week 9, there's still somebody who still hasn't paid. So I'm not worried. This happens every year, but hey, that just means that if you've never played before and you want to play, there's a spot open for you. Goalie spots are all taken, but the skater spots are still open. And we just added a bunch of items for the raffle. So one of those is a Vladimir Tarasenko Adidas jersey. Another is a Erie Otters Connor McDavid jersey, which is pretty sweet. A couple other things, too. We got like I think there's a car flag, a flag you can hang in front of your house that's the Missouri state flag and has the Blues logo on it. So we've added a bunch of stuff. We're still looking to add more. So if you or your business would like to add some items, email me at jponder94@gmail.com.
Don't email the show because Jeff can never get that address right.
Just tweet us, right?
Right. Just tweet us. Tweet us. Yeah. Did you say procrastinatory? Is that a word?
Is that a word?
I'm going to say no.
I just kind of went with it.
I know what you meant. So that's the whole purpose of language in general is to communicate. And I got it.
It looks dictionary.com lists it as a word.
Okay. What's it mean? I assume
to procrastinate
in a procrastinating manner.
Yes.
Okay. I like that word, procrastinatory.
Well, there you go. Let's try and every one of us should try to work it in throughout the episode.
It's the word of the show. The word of episode 149.
Ah!
I was Do we have the Pee Wee Herman sound effect ready?
What's the word of the day, Conky? It was Conky, right?
Zombie.
The official beers of episode 149. What? Who wants to go? Bill, you go. You're first. You're always first.
I'll go first. I'm working on the Instagram post for it right now.
Okay.
I went with something totally different. Brewery I've never had before. Looked great on the shelf at Friar Tuck. It's Big Bad Baptist Imperial Stout from Epic Brewing.
Where's Epic Brewing from?
They are Colorado and Utah. So I've actually Utah, for being a Mormon state that frowns upon beer and frowns upon coffee, I've had some really, really good beer from Salt Lake City. Spent some time there. I have an uncle who lives there. This one was brewed in Salt Lake City. It tells you exactly where it was brewed. This is release number 100 and bottle number 5423 from the Salt Lake City brewery. Very good.
Cool.
It's coffee, chocolate, whiskey barrel.
Very imperial like.
Very imperial.
Do you feel like royalty?
No.
Jeff, what you got?
Well, I have not tweeted it out yet, so I know all of you are just sitting on the edge of your seats to know what I'm drinking tonight. By the way, Bill, don't be silly. Utah isn't a state. It's a city in Colorado, right?
What?
Am I wrong?
Do they have poutine there?
They do have a poutine, yes.
How many poutines do they have?
Just
one? Just
one. They have one poutine. So I am going with an old favorite again. I had this earlier in the series, but Contact High from Four Hands. And you're probably saying, good Lord, Jeff, is that all you drink? Well, it's the end of the season for it. And so I went up to Friar Tuck, which if you'd like to sponsor Let's Go Blues Radio, tweet us. Like that? I did it right that time.
Very nice.
But yeah, Friar Tuck, my local Friar Tuck, and they had about 5 cases left. So I bought them all because I figure that'll get me through the winter. So basically that's all in my fridge right now. So yeah, I had to go with whatever was available.
Do you like to assault your taste buds with a tasty caramel pecan brown ale? Does that sound appealing to you? Do you enjoy flavor taken to the next level? Do you enjoy nutty, sweet, buttery flavor with a slight hint of salt to tie it all together? Who doesn't like that? That sounds delicious. It is, if you do, and who wouldn't, it is the salted caramel pecan ale from 4204 Brewery on Main Street in Belleville, Illinois. So this is another local beer. And I think they came out with this last year for the first time, maybe, or 2 years ago. Whatever it was, and I enjoyed it last year. It's a very fall-like beer. It's caramely and pecan-y, and like a Thanksgiving beer, if you will. It's good. I like it. It's it's sweet. So drinking a lot of it's not, it's a lot to take if you drink a lot of it, but it's good. So try it out.
I've not had it. I don't know that I've ever had anything from 4204.
They have they have a bunch of beer there, and there's I've had a few of them. I like them. The pecan is their like signature, and they have a really nice, a big eating area restaurant. I think it's a Tuesday or a Monday or a Wednesday special. I think it's Monday. They used to have it last year anyway. A steak and like 2 sides and a beer for $10, or a steak one side and a beer $10, something like that. It was, it's a really good steak for, $10. Oh, you're thinking getting like a cheap little steak? No, it was pretty damn good. I enjoyed it. There you go.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a neat place.
So I want to give a shout out here to some people I know that are watching the show right now. Those up at Queenie Park, Midwest Sport Hockey, my hockey team, my Wednesday team that I sub for, the Metal, named after Jack Black, of course. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and hope we do you well. By the way, I was told that I look like I stink because I played earlier and I was told that it looks like I haven't showered yet.
Well, it's not Saturday, so you haven't.
That's what I said. I said I haven't showered since before my game on Sunday.
Okay. Oh, you're a Sunday shower. Wow.
Yeah. I like to shower Sunday mornings. I feel like that's the Lord's Day.
Or church. Okay.
Yeah.
Or instead of church, in lieu of church. In lieu of church this week, I'm going to shower.
Yep. That's my way of giving back to the community.
Right. Spoon Fudge in the YouTube chat says, what else was it? He says, you guys are beer snobs. Beer should not taste like sweet food.
We shall respectfully agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree. I've had many a great chocolate stouts and yeah. So yeah, I mean all 8 of them. All 8 of them. What does that mean? You guys are beer snobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're a
beer snob. The one who says that they like the pecan beer, or the one who says beer should not taste like sweet food. That's pretty snobby.
Yeah.
Beer should only taste like certain things. That sounds pretty snobby to me. I'm very accepting of beers. I like a wide variety.
I don't. I'll take that. I'll take that criticism.
Right.
You know what? I think he's probably a fudge snob. You can take that so many ways.
You could.
Let's move on, shall we?
Yeah, no, I was reading Spoon Fudge's comment on YouTube. It says, you guys need to get the Sony MDR 7506 headphones. You guys don't match. Yeah. No, Bill and I have different headphones on. But that's okay. We're not rich and connected.
Terrible. He called us terrible.
We can afford matching headsets. Come on.
Anybody want to try to call out Beats by Dre to get them to sponsor us?
Sure, yeah. We'll wear them for free on the show. Why not? And we'll even talk about them for a little while.
If Dr. Dre would like to sponsor the show, you can tweet us.
Today in Blues history, courtesy of the @STL Blues History Twitter account, October 10th, 2018, 1979. The St. Louis Blues traded Gary Unger to the Atlanta Flames. Unger was St. Louis Blues franchise leader in games, goals, assists, points at the time of the trade. So kind of like us trading Federico, more or less. At the Unger had played 600 some odd games. Yeah, so he'd been around for a while.
Yeah.
I've got something that's going to probably derail us for about 20 minutes with this. First of all, I do want to say somebody just messaged me and asked if I would give the website to where you can sign up for the tournament. I did not do that. Drop in STL.com, far right tab. I think it says 2018 SPCM tournament. Just click that and then scroll down to where it says donate. That is where you will donate your money to sign up for the tournament. But with this, Gary Unger to the Atlanta Flames. So I was having a conversation with someone, and we don't have it in the notes here, so I imagine we're not going to discuss it. The Hartford Whalers, the Carolina Hurricanes, are wearing that Whalers jersey one time this year. They're going to have a Heritage Night. So somebody asked me, would the Winnipeg Jets ever do that with the Atlanta Thrashers? And would the Calgary Flames ever do that with the Atlanta Flames? My answer to both of those is a definite no. I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like the Winnipeg Jets, they have done everything they can to try and make people forget that they came from Atlanta and that they're not the same franchise from before. And then same thing with Calgary. I think
Calgary did. They had the A. That was the Flame.
Their assistant, the assistant's A was the logo.
Yeah,
from Atlanta.
So I mean, that was like a little kind of a.
Yeah.
But a jersey though, do you see them ever doing a jersey?
No,
I don't think so.
No.
It's like it'd be like what Colorado doing. That
would be cool.
Back. That would be cool.
I would love that.
Would they? I don't know.
Never.
It's a led team. They don't do anything like they're supposed to.
They just go offside all the time.
Spoon Fudge says Unger was a good trade. He was nothing but a cherry picker. Unger was overrated. Well, that makes me feel sad because I have a puck signed by him. So it's now I will always think of that when I look at the puck, that Spoon Fudge thought that Unger was overrated.
Yeah, he was before my time. My first game I ever went
to. Iron Man Gary Unger.
Yeah.
He had a statue out front, iron statue out front of the, which went missing. Did you hear about that? I tweeted Blues history about that on Twitter. And for those who don't know, that in front of the old arena back in the day, they had an iron statue that was created locally, and then of Gary Unger for his accomplishment of playing in so many games in a row, Iron Man. And the iron statue was out there, and I don't know when it went missing, but it went missing, and they don't know where it is. And it went missing before the arena was torn down, I think, or when it was torn down. But nobody knows where it went to. So, and we inquired with the @STL Blues History Twitter account, which is actually a good resource for everything blues, and he was not sure either. So
he just said, "I don't have it.
I don't have it. I don't know." Today's date, 1970. Al Arbor made his Blues head coaching debut versus the Rangers in a 3-1 win. And then a then record crowd of 18,362 was on hand for the season opener. It was the first of 782 career wins for Arbor. 107 of those were as head coach of the Blues. He had a regular season record with St. Louis of 42, 40, and 25, and 4-7 in the playoffs. And he went on to win Stanley Cups elsewhere with the Islanders.
Yes. It's always funny to, I mean, obviously that record's not the greatest, the 42, 40, and 25, but you look at all the great coaches the Blues have had, and they all have losing records in the playoffs.
Yep, and they all have win cups elsewhere.
Yep,
like, which is just adds insult to injury.
Mm-hmm.
That, we'll fire this guy. We'll let him go because we can't win with him. Oh, you went to New York and won 4 cups, huh? Oh, wow, that's impressive. Oh, Bowman, you went how many? Wow, how many? You went 6, 8?
Yeah, went to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
went to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Montreal. Well, no,
Montreal.
He went to Montreal. So
he was with Montreal first,
right?
Not as a head coach though,
right?
And then we stole him from Montreal.
He was in the organization,
right?
And then he went to Montreal, won a bunch of cups. Then went to Buffalo, didn't do anything. Then wound up in Pittsburgh,
as is the case with most people that go to Buffalo.
Right, right. Looking at you, Carter Hutton.
Oh, too soon.
Yeah, considering the results so far this season.
Today's date, 1993. Brett Hull made his NHL coaching debut. Everybody's like, what? NHL coaching debut? He coached the Blues to a 4-3 loss versus Team USA. Brett Hull was injured at the time. So it was a exhibition preseason thing.
Was that the Team USA team featuring Ray LeBlanc in goal?
93? Man, that might be. That's pretty close.
Yeah, because that was before the pros were playing in the Olympics. So.
Yeah, which was 98? I
think 98 was the first. Nagano.
Huh. This date, 1974. Happy 44th birthday to former St. Louis Blues captain, Norris and Hart Trophy winner Chris Pronger. Born October 10th, 1974 in Dryden, Ontario. Retire 44.
Jeff,
in honor.
What do you think?
In honor of this, I do have I don't know if you can see it or my abnormally large cranium here, but I do have my Chris Pronger 44 jersey hanging up with the red bottom because I wanted to make Kurt and Bill happy.
Yeah, the ugliest of all Blues jerseys ever, even the one that arched Blues over the top of the note.
I retire 44.
Yep.
Retire 44.
You know, when a player plays for a team for 9 seasons, and over the course of those 9 seasons, he establishes himself as an elite player in the NHL and arguably the best player in our franchise's history. You're going to have your Brett Hull people and you're going to have your McInnes people. But you retire that number.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 9 seasons. He didn't play for 3 years. I mean, he didn't play for 3-4 years where it's like, oh, he didn't play long enough. 9 seasons is plenty long enough to retire a number, especially when he plays at the elite level and it brings home the hardware he did over that time. So and every time I see the McInnes statue out front of the building, and I want to get your guys' feedback on this, I always think, every time I look at it, I think, well, yeah, he's deserving of a statue. You know, he played here. I think he played here a year longer than Pronger did. Was it 10 years? 9 years? 10 years? I think it was 10
Something
years.
like that.
Anyway, I'm thinking, why not Pronger?
No, I'm with you.
McInnes has his number retired, has a statue. Granted, he's still with the organization, and we've had this conversation on the show before, but so McInnes has done more post playing career with the Blues than Pronger has. But
has he though?
Well, he's an advisor. He's a presence in the community somewhat. You don't see him that much though, do you? But you see him at games.
Yeah, but so maybe this is a topic for another show, but how can you have Al McInnes, the best shooting defenseman in NHL history, and you have a defensive core that relies on Chris Butler to put pucks on net? How does that happen? Great goal in the Chicago game. But why can't he do that more often? If McInnes is part of the organization, why isn't he at least imparting his knowledge?
Yeah, you would think it would be nice if he would go the Brodeur route, which he did his first season here, which, goalie coach. I mean, maybe he feels like it's below him, or now a Hall of Famer being a, whatever, goalie coach or a defensive coach or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Attend some meetings, give us some inspiration. I don't know.
I'm going to bring us back on course. Thanks, Bill, Dick. All that I wanted to add was that, first of all, like Kurt said, we had this discussion. I want to say it was mid-September we did a show, maybe early September. So if you didn't hear that, we have a long, drawn-out, probably too long discussion about how the Blues need to retire number 44. So that's a good listen for you, Mom, if you like listening to your son. But no, I'm with you. And let me ask you guys this question, because we all know, everyone agrees on this show, Chris Pronger should have his number retired. Let's say Chris Pronger gets traded to the Edmonton Oilers. He plays as long as he played until 2010, 2011. But he doesn't have the success he had. He doesn't win a cup. He doesn't go to 2 other Stanley Cup finals. He doesn't get consideration for the Norris every damn year. Do you think that plays at all into them not retiring the number yet? That he had success with other teams?
I would hope not. It shouldn't matter. I don't know why it. I don't know why it would if it does.
No, and is there any insight? Has there been any kind of, has the question ever been posed to him? Have the Blues approached him about it, and he's just said, I'm not really interested in it right now?
But he comes back for ceremonies and jersey retirements. He's on the ice for all kinds of stuff when they have tributes and things. He's always here. He lives he has a house. He lives here, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's here. I don't know.
And to me, I think what they're waiting on is, when the Blues miss the playoffs again this year, and it's 3 years outside of the playoffs, and they need to put butts in seats. That's when it's going to happen.
Yeah. When do we need to sell at a game?
Yes, exactly.
I don't know. He is no longer being paid. Is that correct? He's done, or is his contract?
Yeah, he's done.
Okay, so that,
did it run out finally?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like I thought it ended last year.
Books.
Yeah, it's over. He's done.
I thought it was ended last year. I thought it was like really recent. Just it ended.
I think it was 2 years ago, but it's very close. Yes, it is. It is done. He is no longer an Arizona Coyote.
Only there were a website called Cap Friendly that would help out with that.
Well, it's what's funny, and I think I said this last year. You know how I remember my wedding anniversary? It's the day after Chris Pronger's birthday. That is, I'm not kidding, and I hope my wife can't hear me in the other room right now, but that is how I remember our wedding anniversary. Oh yeah, October 11th. That's a day after Chris Pronger's birthday.
It ended in 2016-17. According to Cap Friendly. There you go.
So 2 years ago.
Yep. So, before we get into the first couple games, it was announced that the Blues have a new goal song, which and they said the Urge was going to create it, and I was like, oh, that's okay, cool, awesome, great, perfect. We won't have a recycled song that somebody else is using like crazy, or half the arenas use when they blow a hole, when they score a goal, or it'd be something unique to St. Louis.
Right. No Joe Satriani goal song.
Right. And so the Urge created it, and we got to hear it once on opening night, and it. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but okay. First off, I heard the whole thing, and I like it. I like it a lot. But if it doesn't sound a lot like the Rangers goal song, it's very, very, very similar. It's almost like they heard it and just put in "Let's Go Blues" instead of "Let's Go Rangers."
And added some horn because it's
yes,
the Urge.
Right. Yes,
right.
In the beginning, the very beginning, which I do like. I like it.
Yeah.
It's good. And if the Rangers didn't have it, I'd be like, "This is great. This is cool." But here, and for those who haven't heard either one, I'll play a little beach for you here. Hold on.
Damn.
Yeah. Here's the Urge, the blues goal song. Okay, so and here's the Rangers song. Okay. What do you think? What do you think?
Put in context.
I like it. I mean, it's a different conference. It's fine, right?
Yeah, no. No. Our group text at the time, my comment I think is appropriate. I think it seems like it's taken from a blueprint that was created from bad market research and old white people thinking they know what the average hockey fan wants.
Which actually reflects upon the comment in the YouTube chat that just popped up from Brenando, which is fun to say. They both sound like they were made 15 years ago. Which, yeah, well, the Rangers thing's been on for a while. So, but, they had to have. I mean, a number of teams do songs similar to that. I mean, it's not unique to the Rangers by any means, but that was the first thing I thought of.
I've got bad echo going on. FYI.
Well, stop talking.
Let Kurt change it off of studio.
That's how
it was on.
Shut up.
There you go. How's that?
Very much better. Thank you. Mark that on the tape. So
no, mark that on the tape.
Mark that on the tape.
Okay, I will. Fine.
I like it, like you guys. I mean, it's like you said, different conference. It's not like they're using Chelsea Dagger or something. But man, I know we've had this type of discussion before. I just wish that it was something that was more related to St. Louis, and they could go two ways with that. They could go bluesy. They could go, like the Blues Go Marching In. That was always a blues thing.
Bluesy St. Louis song. It's called When the Blues Go Marching In.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, bluesy is in, like, they could go jazz. More jazz if you wanted, which I think people would still enjoy if it's an up-tempo one. Or what I was wanting when I heard the Urge was going to do the song, I thought, oh, man, let's hear that Urge sound for a blues goal. Because I don't know how big of Urge fans you guys were, but I'm still a big fan of the Urge. Steve Ewing, I love everything that guy touches.
It would have been fun. It would have been fun if they would have done a more urgy song.
Yeah, and it's just not at all, and that's fine. It's fine. I mean, it again, like the song's fine. People are going to sing along in a year. Nobody's going to even be complaining about it. But I just wish that they would have went to a different route with it, since the Urge were the ones who did it. I feel like that's a song any musician can do. Kurt was just snapping his fingers. That's all that was.
Beer number 2. No, I agree. And that's what I was expecting. I think everybody was. And instead we got a Ranger song with some trumpets thrown in.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's okay. You know, you got, I guess, in the mindset that you have to change things up every once in a while. But to me, all I ever want out of the Blues Goal song is the horn goes off and then the organ plays when the Blues go marching in. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we need. We don't need anything more.
And now it's 3. It's the horn. It's they do play when the Blues go marching in, and then they play this, which is ridiculous. I'm like, it's too much.
Right.
Do the horn when the goal goes in, play when the Blues go marching in, and just be done with it.
And that's it. And let the crowd take over.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And they can't just go with the new Urge Blues song, because then they're cutting out when the Blues go marching in, and you'd have an uproar. So they really just they can't fuck with it. You can't. You're gonna have. I get wanting to have more, change it up or make it new or bring in a different kind of crowd. Oh, the Urge is doing the Blues song. I'll go to the game. But I don't think it's going to make a damn bit of difference how many people are in the stands based on a new goal song. It's just kind of like a neat new thing once you're already there. Okay, let's check this out once we're here.
Yeah.
It's not going to get anybody to go to the game, is it? I mean, really?
No.
No.
And I don't know. I think, Chelsea Dagger it was a stroke of genius when the Hawks did it at the moment that they did it. But now everybody feels like that everybody's competing with them. And I think that's bad, because you're not going to match that. I mean, at this point, it is the most annoying thing in the world, because Chicago sports fans have adopted it. Blackhawks bandwagon fans have just latched onto it. When I first heard that, I was like, you know what? That's actually pretty cool, because it elicits fan participation. Mm-hmm. The Urge song's not going to do that. The Minnesota Wild, I think, were the closest to get to that, and now they've decided to drop Prince. I thought that was brilliant. Let's Go Crazy as their goal song. It's Hometown Boy. Mm-hmm. Do it. Mm-hmm. And they elected to drop that this year.
Does anybody hate when the Blues go marching in? Do people not want that played? I mean, is there like are they doing market research that says, you know what? This song is, people don't like this song. People don't want it. Let's do something different.
Well, when they are doing market research, they need to ask people other than Patrico.
when they changed it last year to the Seven Nation Army song, and this was a similar discussion, I guess, but we were way on the other side of what the hell are you doing? I feel like they just do these things. They change the goal songs. They change the whatever song, the opening song, every now and then, and it never goes over well, and they always end up going right back to doing when the Blues go marching in. So I just feel like there probably isn't a lot of people against it, and why are you messing with a good thing? Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not going to games because they're not playing when the Blues go marching in. Fine, whatever. You want to play a new song? Fine. Like I said, it's not a bad song, but I just feel like this is something, again, it's going to be another fad where they're going to say, yeah, you know what? People liked when the Blues go marching in better. And within a year or 2 years, they're going to be back to playing that all the time, which is what everybody wants.
Bob Rakowski in the YouTube chat said, I give it 3 goals and 2 beers before I sing along with it, though. And I can totally see like the fans chanting along, hey, with the, I get that. That can happen after a while, once everyone becomes familiar with it and knows the words. But I think that can happen. But the thing is that I think at this point, it's just too far past the goal at this point, when you got the horn, you got the Blues go marching in.
But But wait, maybe there's a stroke of genius here. Is it long enough that they're going to push out Towel Guy?
But what's the okay? I there are a lot of people that hate Towel Man. I don't mind him at all, but there are people hate him, and some people. I mean, whatever, it is what it is. I don't care if you like him or dislike him, but I just like that's kind of right. Do you like Towel Man, Bill? Yeah or no?
Yay, I like him.
You like him?
Well, I don't know him, but I like the bell ringing and the counting.
It's I mean, it's been going on for how many years now?
Right.
For a long time.
It's great when you're scoring goals and leading games. You go up 6-1 on a team, there's no better feeling. But when you're down 6-0, you score a goal and they do it. That's like
one.
Okay, yeah, no.
Because we've only got one.
Right.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
It's contextual.
Yeah,
right?
I know. But at what point do you? Okay, well, it's 6-3 now. Do we do it now?
Right.
Well, it's okay.
But then when it builds, right? But that's the thing. It's contextual. If it's building, you're like, oh, we're contributing. We're getting people pumped up. Everybody can count, right?
Bob Rakowski also says shouldn't have screwed with Angela either. Did you? I mean, you guys have seen the new in-game hostess?
Yeah, we saw her on Saturday together.
Yeah,
when Kurt and I went on a mandate.
But and she was at the Blue Note 5K, which we both did on Saturday. So what you just said.
Yeah,
but
exactly what I just said.
Right.
Thank you.
I was thinking you were thinking of the Blues game, the preseason game. I was like, what? So, but yeah, I would like to think she'll get better.
Yeah, I mean she's enthusiastic, which is good. I mean they had a gentleman last year who I will go on record as saying was not my favorite person.
He was an asshat.
He was. He I don't want to share too much of a side story, a private story, but he was not very responsive to me when I asked him if he was interested in coming on the show, whereas
he was a dick.
Yeah, for those who listen to the show know that much more high-profile people were excited to come on the show, and he passed us off like we were nothing. And it's fine if you say no. I mean, that's fine, but he didn't go about it a great way. But that's beside the point. He was not an enthusiastic guy, and when the thought was he was going to step in for Angela, it was like, what are you doing? Why? Because it was obvious he had no desire to learn the game, learn the players, get to know the fans. But you know what? This girl, she's young. Kurt, what would you say? 20, 21? She's pretty young.
I'm gonna like 24, 22, 24.
You think so? Okay.
I'm gonna say she looks young, a little younger than she is.
That's probably true. But yeah, I mean, she's enthusiastic. She's just not. She hasn't picked it up quite yet. But I've followed Angela since her River Otter days, and I'm sure.
She has a restraining order against you because of that too.
What's that?
She has a restraining order against you because of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, her and Mr. Blues
followed her.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, literally would follow her.
Right, that's
follow her to her car and ask her if she wanted to come in my van for some candy.
Your window.
But no, I mean, maybe back when she started, she wasn't very good. I don't remember. I thought she was great. But maybe that was just me being a dumb, horny 19-year-old. So yeah, I mean,
you and Kavanaugh.
She'll get better. Yeah. Oh God, don't even. No politics.
It's not politics. It's
no
Supreme Court. Politics are void from the Supreme Court. Don't you realize that? That's a thing.
I don't care. We're not getting into that, Kurt. Damn it.
I'm just saying. Not a political statement whatsoever. Talking about Kavanaugh. Anyway. Aaron Knox says, the counting is fun. And I agree. It's fun.
I agree with him.
It's fun. But yeah, it is weird when you're down by a bunch and you're counting. It's like celebrating we're down by a lot.
Are you guys ready for this transition? Like last Thursday,
Oh yes.
The home opener against Winnipeg, where we lost 5-1. One. We scored. Yeah. Didn't we score first?
No.
No, I did.
No, they scored in the third period.
That's right. That's right. Because I was waiting for the goal song.
It was lopsided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, advanced stats, and I think people who didn't look at the scoreboard necessarily, and you didn't. If you don't look at the score, and if you don't look at the goal scoring plays, you think, oh, the Blues did very well. I mean, pretty well, considering that advanced stats kind of showed the Blues had the better the play for most of the game against Winnipeg in the season opener. Couldn't solve Hellebuck, and the chances the Jets did have were really good ones in tight on Allen at the top of the net, top of the crease, basically top of crease, low slot. So and Allen, and then Allegan, and then Allen couldn't come up big on a number of shots, so hence the score.
Couldn't come up average.
I think these numbers reiterate what the three of us were tweeting and what we've talked about, and a lot of, not just us, I mean Blues fans in general, that they didn't really have a ton of chances, and again, we'll get to Allen in a minute. The defense didn't look very good for the Blues, so the chances they did get were high quality. They were,
and it's one of those things where it's a harder thing for your average traditional fan to recognize poor defense for the most part, as opposed to poor goaltending. Because you'll see a lot of times where if a goal is allowed, it's always the goalie's fault, which is a bunch of horse shit. We all know that. And we've been critical on Allen on this show a lot because he's deserved it. This game was, like we said, Allen didn't come up big, and the Blues defense hung him out to dry a lot.
Yeah.
So, and that combination led to the 5-1 score. And it's that in a nutshell. Because the Blues, I mean, what is it here? The
Corsi 5-on-5.
The Corsi 5-on-5 stats show the Blues had much better to play most of the game. 5-on-5. So there's that. And that was a good sign. And I thought that after that first game, I was like, wow, that 5-1 score sucked. But I was not disappointed with the way the Blues played in the offensive zone, even though they couldn't score. They had a lot of really good chances, and Hellebuck was fantastic.
There was a save he made in the third period. I don't remember who it was that shot it, but he slid across and he had no business making the saves he made on some of those.
Or the Lowry shorthanded goal.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, this is just one of those games where it just seems like it happens to us more than every other team, where, gosh, we really played really well. We just couldn't beat their goalie. And I think that was the case in the offensive zone. Defensively, we had some problems, but it is what it is. First game of the season, okay, right. Whatever.
Yeah, willing to write that game off completely, because it is the first game of the season, and the Jets were firing on all cylinders.
They took advantage of the opportunities they had, and we did not. And that's it in a nutshell. The Bronx cheers in the game, which
pissed me off.
Pissed Bill off. I took it. Let me say what I want to say about it, and then you can go on your piss rant. It happened. They were talking about this, and I said this that night, but they were talking about this McClement on the pregame show for the Flyers game tonight, when Elliott gave up a lot of goals the other night, and the Flyers fans gave him the Bronx cheer, and McClement echoed exactly what I said, that if you're an NHL goalie and you give up 3 or 4 goals, bang, 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 and then you make a save, you're going to get the sarcastic cheer from the stand. That's just the way it's going to work. And when Panger pointed it out, I think he made it worse, to be honest. Yeah. They probably should have just ignored it. But Pang said, oh, that's not deserved. I shouldn't do that. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe Allen didn't deserve it, but that happens all the time. It's not like that. That's not like it was exclusive to Blues fans that night where, oh my God, how could Blues fans be so they're Bronx, they're giving Allen the Bronx cheer. That's what hockey fans do, though. That's what they do when a goalie gives up a bunch of goals and then you make a save. They always get the sarcastic cheer. That happens all the time.
But we're not Flyers fans.
No, we're not Flyers
We
fans.
don't throw batteries.
No,
in
we
our
don't. We don't
goalies.
boo Santa Claus. But here's the thing: is that it happens, and Panger's seen it 1,000 times.
Right.
And he made a big deal about it, and then all of a sudden, social media is pitching about it. If he would have ignored it and not said a thing about it, it would have been a very minor thing online. I know it, but Panger made a big deal about it, and he made it into an issue.
Right. So I defended Jake Allen. Like I tweeted, "Stop it, you fucking cretins."
Yeah.
Don't boo him. And the reason why I did that is the point that we made during the show last week, that goaltending is a lot about confidence, and all they were doing at that point was eroding his confidence. He gets the Bronx cheer. He gives up 2 very, very mediocre goals. I mean, yeah, what turned out to be the game-winning goal. You go back, you break it down. It is not a good goal. It's not. I mean, we talked at length about this.
There are a number of people on social media that would vehemently disagree with you.
I'm sorry, but Petro. So, okay, your captain completely shat the bed on that play. What the fuck are you doing? Trying to dive to keep a puck in?
Yeah.
At that point in the game,
he's had a rough start to the season.
Petro's been terrible. He needs to. They need to take him off the power play and just make him focus on the defensive end.
That's
of
what
the
I
game.
said in our preseason show. I was like, I don't like seeing Pietrangelo on the power play.
Right, make him focus on that. However, he dives at the other blue line. Allen sees Lowry the length of the ice, and he gets backed up by Lowry's speed. He doesn't stand, not to use a phrase that I absolutely hate, but he doesn't stand his ground. He needs to not back in. When Lowry released that shot, Allen's still backing in, and he's on his goal line. That you cannot do that. His form was terrible. He was not prepared, even though he saw the guy coming for 3/4 of the length of the ice.
But Bill,
it was a bad goal.
But Bill, it was a breakaway. You can't blame the goalie on a breakaway. So, and sarcasm, right? I mean, that's a common theme when someone is breaking down very loosely, breaking down a game. Oh, well, this goal, was a 2-on-1, so you can't blame the goalie. And this one, the defense totally blew covered in the front, so you can't blame him either on that one. And this one's a breakaway, so you can't blame the goalie on that either. No. You can blame the goalie on all of them.
All right.
But it's every goal is a case by case basis. A goalie can look really bad on a breakaway, like we talked about, you said, and he did on this one in particular.
So I will throw it out there. If any of our listeners are technically proficient goaltenders, explain to me what the advantage of right pad vertical on a breakaway is. Why are you not trying to take away the bottom of the ice? Why is your stick out of position? How easy is it to go 5-hole on a breakaway in this day and age? Allen, he wasn't ready. He was still skating backwards. That is the only explanation I have for how he was in the position that he was in at the point that Lowry released that shot. Challenge him.
It was the defense's fault, Bill. It was the fault. Breakaway.
Bob Rukowski just said in the YouTube chat, and I think he says kind of what we're all getting to. When Allen is aggressive, usually he's a much better goalie. That's the case. We all agree with that. And,
well, I think. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. God damn it. He'll keep calling me.
All that I want to add to that is that I think that when Jake first came up with the team years and years ago, not that he was spectacular his rookie year. I think he was good, but a lot of his good saves came when he was at the hash marks, at the circles, and he's just not doing that anymore. I don't know if that's coaching. I don't know if it's timidness on Allen's part. And let me be clear, too, that I agree with Bill 100% that the Bronx cheer was ridiculous. But that play in particular, when that puck went in, I just thought, Jake, what happened to you? He didn't used to be the most aggressive goalie in the world, but I mean, God, he used to come out and challenge the shooter. And I'll tell you, as a shooter, when the goalie comes out far and you're like, okay, I just got to either try to burn him with speed and get him off his game.
Just not
true. No, it's not my game. Not at all. I got to try and burn him and get around him where I just have an empty net, or because it's intimidating when a goalie comes out far like that. And Jake just does not do that anymore.
Jeff's breakaway technique is lull him to sleep.
No, his breakaway technique is lift the leg. But
that's right. Leg kick, baby.
Well, so Rakowski's comment on Mike Rakowski. I was just thinking of a monster thing. Anyway, sorry. I say what's in my head. I say what's in my head. I can't help it. He said when Allen's aggressive, usually he's a much better goalie. I think you can say that about every goalie. I mean, you need to go. You can't be sitting back on the goal line. You can't be sitting under the crossbar. I think goalies are better when they challenge shooters in general. So I think Allen's problem is that he's better when he's aggressive. However, I think Allen runs into a problem too, where he's too aggressive. He slides out the net, and he will challenge. He doesn't necessarily over challenge, but he just keeps on going.
he's the Energizer Bunny of goaltending position.
He'll challenge a guy and he'll slide out, and then he'll just be 8 feet out of the goal, halfway to the corner, and it's like, dude.
Not to jump too far ahead, but that I saw a screen cap in the game in Chicago where his pads are both outside the post and the play is still in front of the net. How do you get in that position? And that when he's on,
was Bertuzzo on top of him sliding?
Not this time, but when that's been your problem your whole career, how have you not corrected that at age 28?
Yeah, I mean that's some of this stuff it makes you worry about. This guy is. There are some things it's like you should have that part down by now. I mean,
right. We've. Yeah, the thing that scares me is I think we as a fan base, and apparently the GM on down did this as well. We all just hoped that he had figured it out at this point.
Well,
and now I'm
scared. 2 games, guys. 2 games.
It is right. Small sample size.
Yeah, and I said that to a number of folks online. It's like, yeah, well, I mean, it's fun. And it's fun to I mean, the season started, everybody's itching to go, and they're locked and loaded, ready to talk about hockey, and then all of a sudden it happens, and I want to talk about it, and then all of a sudden the Blues come out of the gates real slow, and there's a lot of problems, and people are like, oh my God, and they're just like pissed off, and the world's ending. And it's like, okay, pump your brakes, kid.
Right. It's
from Tropic Thunder. It's I mean, yeah, there are some issues. It's 2 games. I don't think Petrangio's going to play that way the whole season. I have my doubts about Allen, but
well, and also the first 2 games you're missing your best left defenseman.
Yes, and he should be back. They're saying he should be back.
Right. That's I think a tweet we cover a little bit later.
Yeah.
But going back to the fancy stats that we put in the show outline, if you look at the heat map of the shots in the Winnipeg game, it is the left defenseman where they got their strongest efforts, and where they scored at least 2 of their goals from. That so
yeah,
Edmondson is a big shot blocker.
That's 5-on-5 too.
Yeah, so hopefully him coming back shores some of this up.
Well, it is crazy how the majority of their chances are just right on top of the top left crease. It's just right there. Yeah. And the Blues are kind of spread out. They're more towards the
middle of the slot.
Right. Middle of the slot, edge of the circle on the left side, and from the point.
Chris Butler.
From the point. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
That is Chris Butler.
From the left point too, they took some shots, but the Blues didn't get quite as many good opportunities in tight, but they had more of them spread around. So
mean, I'm ready to. I wanted to talk about Chris Butler. If you guys have any more about the analytics, let's keep going.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
With Butler, we were messaging throughout the game. There was one play in particular, and I think a lot of Blues fans noticed it, where the kid line was out there, and they would cycle the puck very, very well. And then the minute it would get to Butler's stick, it would be a high shot. He did it, 3 times, 4 times?
It was on one shift.
One shift every time he got the puck.
Motherfucker.
They would cycle it. And who was his partner in that game? Was it Schmaltz?
Schmaltz.
It was.
So Schmaltz would get the puck, he'd look at the net, and then find the pass. And then same thing with all the 3 forwards. The minute it went to Butler, he would rifle a shot at the net, not even at the net, way wide. And what are you doing, man? You're not
of the net.
Yeah,
you're not Erik Karlsson.
If the shooting lane isn't there, bank off the boards into the corner or cycle it or something. I mean, if the game plan is to shoot wide and the forwards are ready for it, okay. But I mean, I don't think that was the plan.
High off the glass is never a good shot.
Off the glass is never the plan to shoot. No, that's true.
And so not just that play. And I don't mean to just dogging the guy. I mean, he was just sent down, thank God. But
I don't want to dog him too much.
Yeah.
He, quite honestly, I thought he was one of the standout defensemen in the Blackhawks game, right? I mean, he was the only one that was trying to put the puck on net.
It is true.
Trying. He scored. But he did score a goal. He had a seeing eye shot from the point that went in. I was actually very surprised that he was the guy that gets sent down in place of Jarabak, who's visa, by the way.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can bring. But I was surprised after the Winnipeg game, and we should definitely get into the Blackhawks game here in a minute.
Yep.
Mike Yeo said that he thought Chris Butler played was a, quote, outstanding or really well or however he worded it. And we were all like, "What? Did you watch the same game as us?" I thought he looked out of place. He didn't look good offensively. I thought defensively he was all over the ice. I mean, I don't. Again, I'm not. I don't want to sit here and dog the guy because, like I said, like I said last week, I support Chris Butler. He's a St. Louis boy, but get off the team. My God, there's too many young Jake Wallmans out there,
right,
that deserve his time when there's an injury,
right. And so we were both at that Winnipeg game in February last year when Chris Butler made a pass to was it Perreault?
I think it was Perreault.
He passed behind everybody. There was nobody else in the zone. He's got the puck along the Blues defensive zone boards. Perreault's 10 feet behind him in the middle of the slot, and he hit him with a perfect pass. I don't know how that happens. And I'm like, at that point, it's like, okay, Chris Butler, your NHL days are behind you, bud. Congratulations on the career, but see ya. And he's the guy that gets the call up or makes the team over, somebody like Jake Wallman.
Yeah.
Why aren't we, again, I'm impressed that the Blues did away with Yaskin and didn't have Thorburn on the team right away. They went with the youth on forward, but why aren't you going to do the same thing on the defense? Why do you have to have Chris Butler there instead of Jake Wallman? Why?
99% of the people commenting are fans and don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. Let's be frank.
That's the answer right there.
We don't need to go there. We really don't need to go.
That wasn't Darren Kimball. That was
that was
the host, I think.
That was friend of the show, Jim Cromer. Come on.
He was an NHL podcast.
Guest over the summer.
Yeah. Good guy. Real good guy. How dare you, Kurt?
That was funny.
I will defend Jim Cromer to the end of the day.
That was very well timed.
Thank you. I was waiting for it. When should I play this? So
No, that's a good comment though. That is funny. And he's right. I mean, you're right. He's right. He's 100% right.
So I'm glad we're in the 1%. Joe, thank God I'm not in the 99. Holy cow, that would suck.
All right. Do we have to talk about this Blackhawks game?
We don't have to. We can turn the show off right now if we want to.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night. Hey, so game 2 against Chicago. Blues jump out to a 2-0 lead on goals by Parayko, which is on the power play. Maybe not the best goal to give up by Ward. He saw it. He just missed it. I mean, it was good. I mean, Parayko's got a fantastic shot, but I think from there, Ward sees it. Went under his glove, I believe. So over the pad on the glove, or just to the left of his glove.
Yeah. So I watched the Blackhawks game the next night against the Leafs, and I'll just say that I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that it was Parayko shooting hard.
Okay.
Given the other goals that he gave up in the next night's game, those were awful.
Tarasenko then scored on a failed clearing attempt by the Hawks. O'Reilly kept it in, and a nice play at the blue line, jumped up, kept it in with his glove, and then dished to Tarasenko, who scored on the second effort, kind of stuffing it in behind Ward. So that was fantastic. Okay, all right. So we played well. I mean, the forwards played pretty well against Winnipeg, just couldn't score. And now in the first period against Chicago, we're up 2-0. Fantastic, good. Chicago is not supposed to be very good this year, so we should be rolling. And then Chicago scores the next 3. So Kane, Kane's goal was a defensive breakdown. He starts off in the corner, and then skates up on the boards, curls up by the point, and then curls to the front. I think this was the Hawks' second goal, I think. And then Tarasenko watches him go by. Tarasenko's playing a covering left point, and he just watches Kane go by, and he doesn't do anything. Doesn't try and get a stick on him. Doesn't try and impede his progress. Doesn't get in the shooting lane. Nothing. And then I forgot who it was. I think it was the other forward on the play. Kind of tried to slide over to block Kane's shot, but didn't get it, and Kane scored. So, but that was bad. That was a horrible defensive zone coverage all around, mainly by the forwards, because Kane skated. I mean, that's their job. And Kane skated out towards the point and just curled in. No one was on him. No one cared. I'm like, it's Patrick fucking Kane. I don't know. Yeah. Ponder, your thoughts on?
Well, we've discussed a little bit here that the defensive play has just been awful, and it's not just the defenseman. I mean, we all know it's when you talk about defensive play, it's your forward stepping up and making the right play, and if the defenseman's caught off guard with something, a forward has to step back and take his place and take that man, and that just did not happen in that play. I mean, it was just. If that happens in game, 45 against a fourth line player, and he just has a great shot that scores on Jake Allen or Chad Johnson, we're not thinking twice about it. It's okay, bad play, shit happens. But like you said, Kurt, when it's Patrick Kane, I mean that's a guy. I mean, that's a guy that when he's on the ice, not only do you notice, but you say. Someone shadow him in the offensive zone. Someone has to stay on him, and that just didn't happen. I mean, it's something that again, it's going to happen. It's going to happen again for Kane. I mean, he's an elusive player. He knows how to get himself open. He knows how to exploit defenses. But every time it happens, it's how the hell was he that open? And for the Blues case here. It's just not looking good for their defense when they allow that kind of play multiple times in 2 games.
I think if anybody goes back and checks the highlights and watches that goal, if they didn't notice it at the time, that watch Tarasenko. He does nothing. He watches him. Literally, he's standing still and does nothing. He could have skated with him. It may not have been his guy, but that's a time where you have to kind of rotate your responsibilities and shift over, because you can't just let Kane walk to the top of the slot and take a shot. You can't do it. So
I mean, that's like Tarasenko for us, for the Blues. If a team lets Tarasenko skate to the top of the slot and just take a shot and score, you better believe that head coach for the other team is going to be ripping his team a new one at intermission.
And I get that Tarasenko's responsibility. I mean, he's not. You don't want him sliding in front of shots. You don't want him sacrificing his body necessarily to, but it's Kane, and all you got to do is skate with him and just get your stick out. Try and get a stick on stick when he shoots or something.
Make it hard on him.
Disrupt him. Yeah, get in the way.
I mean, in that play, like you said, Kurt, he just waltzed in. I mean, yeah, maybe we're not even talking about this goal if Tarasenko or whoever is sticking with him and Kane just makes a nice play, gets a shot off and beats Allen. Okay, yeah, Patrick Kane's a hell of a player. He's going to do stuff like that. But when you allow him to have that time and space, it's not good. You can't let that happen.
So on the Hawks, Kane's goal was the second goal, I believe, tied up. And on the go-ahead goal was actually a break for the Blues coming in the offensive zone. Bozak had the puck and kind of head on the right wing and went to make a drop pass, kind of a forehand drop pass to Steen. And Keith got a stick on it, tipped it away. And then Steen went to, try and adjust and slam on the brakes to go get the puck, and he blew a tire. And then the Hawks got a 2-1 the other way. And then, 2-on-1 shot, rebound, score on the rebound by, who was it? It was
Kruger?
Kruger, yes. Kruger scored. So, I mean, that was just Bozak can't let that happen, I guess you could say, on that play.
Yeah, I think that comes with chemistry. I mean,
maybe.
Again, game 2, we're not. I know none of us are freaking out about it. It's going to happen. You're, slow start, whatever. They had a great start last year and didn't make the playoffs. So I know we're not sitting here freaking out.
That's what everyone's saying too. It's like, oh, great start last year, we missed the playoffs. We'll have a bad start this year and make the playoffs. I mean, okay, yeah.
Well, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work that way. I mean, it's that's not the formula we're going for. You want to have a good start and a good middle and a good finish,
right?
But you don't want to dig yourself out of a hole ever. But
right. But in an 82 game season, it's 2 games, and the Blues they'll adjust. And like I said, we've discussed this. It's game 2 of a new offense. Maybe again, game 45, maybe Bozak isn't trying that play with Steen. And if he is, Steen knows what he's doing. He sees Bozak moving in front of him like that. He's going to know, okay, here comes a drop pass. I mean, that kind of play is something that he probably did in Toronto on a nightly basis. His team's not used to him doing that kind of stuff. So I think that's something that'll correct itself with time. I mean, we kind of all, the 3 of us discussed, we thought that a lot of the chemistry in at least game 1 was a little weak. It kind of felt like the Tarasenko, O'Reilly, Maroon line we're kind of going through the motions, doing a lot of the same kind of stuff that the 3 of them do, and Hellebuck was able to read them well. I think you're kind of seeing the same stuff against Chicago here. I think it's a lot of, okay, Bozak likes to do this. And Keith, he's a hell of a defenseman. I mean, yeah, he's maybe past his prime, but, he's going to read that play, and he's going to know what to do. I mean, that's just a good play by Keith, and I think, again, it's just something that it's going to correct itself in an 82-game season. You just hope it comes sooner rather than later.
And Tarasenko tied it back up on the improbable almost save by Ward. Holy hell.
Yeah.
That could have been the save of the year in the second game of the season. That didn't actually... But it wasn't actually a save.
Right. Kind of like Robert Thomas in the first game against.
Yes, exactly.
Pulled the puck over the line.
Yeah.
But to have the presence of mind to throw your stick behind you like that and to have the reflexes to do it, it's great.
It's
unfortunately for Ward, stick was 3 inches the wrong side of the line.
The highlights on NHL.com, they have the Hawks announcers for that goal. And you hear they're doing the play-by-play, and Pat, what's his name? Pat
Foley.
Foley. When the horn blew to stop play after that save, what they thought was a save, you hear Olczyk go, "Oh no!" It's like, he knew it. He's like, "Oh no!" They're gonna look back. Did they say one across the line?
Bill, in your illustrious goalie career, how many times did you make a save like that?
Let me count.
He's taking off his shoes.
Bill actually has a flow chart in front of him right now.
Maybe once in practice.
Okay.
Actually,
because your defense was so good, they didn't allow shots.
Right.
Bill's actually only made 5 saves his entire life.
Not true. There was 1 year playing Cahokia Men's League. I was on a team that didn't know what defense meant, and we played a team that had several washed out semi-pro guys, and they would spend the entire third period in our zone just passing the puck around the net, and I made a couple of saves like that, but the scores of those games were like 17-2.
Huh.
Not fun.
What is the greatest save you've ever made?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'd have to think long and hard on that. But
Vamp.
Yeah. For about 2 hours.
What's the greatest goal you ever scored, Jeff? I know you're a defenseman.
It was definitely well, I mean, it depends on the situation, I guess. But the one that I remember best is a tournament we do every year, not the Ponder one, another one that I play in every year. And I was with a leg kick. I scored a shootout tournament winning goal. So I scored, made it 2-1 in the shootout, and then my goalie made the save, and we ended up winning. So at that point, I mean, I thought I had a pretty terrible tournament that year. And even my goalie, who was amazing, Chris LePage, he's about your age, Bill. Does it sound familiar to you?
No.
No? Okay. Because he played college. I think he played Truman. Chris, he made an unbelievable save. And then after the game, I'm like, you won that for us. And he goes, no, man. And he handed me the puck. And I'm like, dude, I had an awful tournament. I got lucky. And he was like, no, man, you won it for us. And I'm like, let's not let that get out because that's not true. It's like I also let in about 5 goals that whole tournament.
I was mine was I was playing in a tournament in college against Purdue. I was playing for SIUC and we were playing against Purdue, and I had 2 goals in the game, and then I was the second to last shooter in the shootout. It was a tie game going in the shootout, and I scored in the shootout. So the shootout goal, I think, was my most memorable goal. So
you've got quite the shootout career, Kurt.
That put us into the finals. Well, and that put us in the finals against Missouri Rolla, and we lost to them, which kind of sucked. But yeah, no, that shootout goal against McNew in the Ponder tournament last year was fun. I enjoyed that one.
McNew is a hell of a goalie.
Yes, he is.
That was a nice goal you scored. I'll tell you what, man. In a million years, I never would have thought that move would have worked on him.
I had never ever in my life tried that move in a shootout before. And a penalty shot or anything. It was just I'm not a fake slap shot. Yeah, I'm not a fake slap shot.
Fake slap shot to the backhand is what Kurt did.
Fake slap shot to the forehand. Fake slap shot.
Forehand.
That's right. Youngblood.
It was. Well, I didn't go
bar down.
I didn't do that. I was not getting cocky. I just slid it in because I had he was down. I had all kinds of open net.
You didn't circle behind you.
No, didn't puck
the puck between your legs.
Didn't do that. No, I just fake slap shot, and he bit it. And to be honest with you, I told you just after I did that, when I didn't know what move I was going to do when I came in, I started in on him, and when I wound up for the slap shot, I thought I'm taking a slap shot, and then on my downswing, I changed my mind. So really, I probably sold it pretty good because I had to like really stop myself when my stick hit the rink, and then so I just kind of just coasted. And he bit it, and I coasted to my right, and I slid it in. So that was fun. That was a good tournament. Let's see. After something, they got Butler, who scored 22 seconds after Tarasenko scored on a crazily, fantastically played slap shot. Upper blocker from out top to lose a 4-3 lead. 22 seconds after Tarasenko scored, which was like, oh yeah, here we go.
We got this.
We got this. All right, they came back, but we took it back in the third. We got this. Nope. Tays scored. Let's see,
his second of the game.
On a play where Pietrangelo looked pretty bad. Pietrangelo actually looked bad on the Tays first goal because he that goal where he the shot that was tipped wide, it deflected wide and then came back in front, and then Allen looked awkward because he didn't know where the puck was.
Mm-hmm.
And Pietrangelo lost his man, Tays, the side of the net, and Tays out-muscled him for the puck and scored. And on this one, if you watch the replay, Pietrangelo is spinning around. He's like turned around completely, doesn't know where Tays is. Tays had eased off him a bit, and Pietrangelo was too close to the goal, and I think it was a rebound shot that Tays put in. It was just a bad-looking play because then Pietrangelo sees Tays the last second with the puck and tries to go down to block it, and he can't. He looked bad on the play. He's looked bad the first two games, which we've talked about.
Yes, and in contrast, the Hawks have embraced the fact that they need to score goals because they don't have goaltending.
Not right now, anyway.
Yeah, unlike the Blues, the Blues, play like the goalie's going to bail them out at some point, and that hasn't happened.
Well, Crawford's supposed to come back not too long, right? I mean, well, if he can.
If he's
cleared,
he's battling concussions.
They were talking about, they gave the impression, some commentary I saw that he might be back soon, assuming things progress as they. But how do you know?
Yeah, and then how good is he going to be? I mean,
right.
I'm sorry, Cam Ward. Cam Ward had one good series one good playoff year when.
Thank you.
Won the cup. He has not proven himself a career-long good goalie in the NHL. His season this year is bad.
He to me is a goalie that Jake Allen should strive to be, because
it's scary,
streaky. It's a streaky goalie, and like people after he won that cup, people were claiming that he's the best goalie in the NHL, and that's just not the case. Positionally, and Bill, obviously you can speak to this better than me, but positionally, I don't know, I feel like he tries to go for the big save and just misses. He's just never square to the shooter, and he just has holes. He has holes all over, but every now and then for 5, 6, 7 games, he'll just figure it out. But then 1, 2, 3 bad goals, all of a sudden he's back to being Cam Ward. And I mean, again, I feel like that's the kind of thing we can hope for Jake Allen. Everybody brings up, and Kurt, you brought this up in the debate with Lance a couple weeks ago. Everyone brings up that playoff series against Minnesota. They don't win that series without Jake Allen. Yeah, you're right. They don't. But how long ago was that? When was the last time we saw that Jake Allen? And if they can get that Jake Allen to play 3-4 times a year for a stretch of 7, 8, 9 games, they'll make the playoffs easy. And if he can go on that run in the playoffs, who knows what this team can do? But we just haven't seen it consistently yet. And
that's the thing too, is that with you brought that up, that the folks that love Jake Allen, they always, that's what they reference. And it's like, that was a while back. I mean, it's kind of telling that you don't really have a whole lot to reflect upon positively for him since then.
Series?
Yeah,
remember that one series? That one time.
Remember that one series a couple of years ago? He played 5 games. He was fantastic. Yeah, I do remember that. That was 5 games out of his 250 game career. So, what have you done for me lately? So yeah, and then to wrap up this game, the game goes to overtime, and Dunn shoots the puck into some shin guards, and the puck goes the other way, and Taves gets a hat trick, and on a great shot. That now this is a goal that this is a breakaway goal that you cannot really blame on Jake Allen because
right.
This was a fantastic shot off the crossbar and in. I don't care who you are, you're not stopping that shot unless you're 15 feet out of the goal, and then he's just going to go around you. So
yeah, it was a hell of a shot.
Yes, it was.
And yeah, no fault to Jake Allen on that. But apparently all the fault in the world on Vince Dunn, who doesn't get the start tomorrow.
Yeah, he's going to be a scratch for the next game. It's got to be because of that play. Has to be. And that pisses me off.
Yeah.
That fucking pisses me off because...
So you send Jerabek down, or you send Butler down because Jerabek's visa clears, and you're not gonna... I guess that means Edmondson's a go, right?
He said unless there's a setback, all signs point to him playing tomorrow. So, and I think that the problem with people have with Dunn being sent down is that Bouwmeester has been kind of bad this year.
Oh, awful.
This year?
Well, and so, you know, has Bouwmeester ever been a healthy scratch since he's been here?
I want to say he was. Yo did it one time, I think, when he first took over. I could be wrong. I feel like that did happen.
I don't remember that, but if he did, he did. But I from what first off, Dunn does not deserve to be scratched. The writing was on the wall the past few days with the pairings in practice because it was him and Schmaltz, I guess, on the fifth or the fourth pairing.
It's the same shit with Yo.
I know.
Young guy makes a mistake and sits.
And that's happened with Dunn a lot. I mean, when Dunn makes a mistake, boom, press box. It's like,
and that's Mike Yo, like Bill just said. I mean, every time.
Jay Bouwmeester. Oh, it wasn't Bo's fault.
Well,
game.
Bob Rakowski said in the chat, talking about the Chicago game, the kid line played less than 10 minutes all game. And he says, I think that may have gassed the other 3 lines. Just a thought. Maybe you're right. I mean,
hold on though.
These young guys have you gotta give them a chance.
But here's the deal with the fourth line though. That's typical fourth line minutes. 10 minutes.
It's right. It is. But that's Mike Yo. Mike Yo's fucking dinosaur thinking.
Well,
play the fucking kids.
That's a good point. But you're gonna take minutes away from the top 2 lines to play the fourth line?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. I'm fine with that.
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
It's a long fucking season.
I'm fine with that. I'm just letting people know because people are kind of saying, oh, well, he only getting 6, 8, 10 minutes. And we want to put a soundbite again?
No, I was going to say, do you have a Trump soundbite? People are saying.
Oh, people are saying, yeah.
Or
I do not have that. No. But the thing is that I think people expect, oh, well, they want to see Thomas play. He's on the fourth line, and fourth line minutes are 8, 9, 10 minutes a game.
But that's not your typical fourth line.
I understand that. But however, if you give them more minutes.
Mike Yo is your typical NHL
there's only 60 minutes in a game, and you those minutes have to come from somewhere else. So if the fourth line's playing more minutes, that means less time for the top 2 lines or 3 lines, which I'm okay with. But I want people to understand that, okay, if you're playing the fourth line more, that means less time for Schenn and Schwartz and Tarasenko.
That's fine. Schenn and Schwartz have looked awful to start the year.
I know, but I don't.
Schwartz looks so slow.
I know, but yeah, they have a history though of where they could just take over a game too. So
they haven't proved it yet. So
not this season.
The kids.
Not this season.
Play the kids who have energy.
I'm all for playing the hot line, especially when the fourth line is the way it is. But I just don't want people to say, "Oh, why is Tarasenko only getting 12 minutes tonight?" Oh, well, it's because
nobody's saying that.
What I'm saying is that's what would happen. Oh, Tarasenko only played 14, 15 minutes. He usually plays more than that. It's like, okay, well, that's because they had to give 3 or 4 more minutes to the fourth line. So,
Kurt, how much is Mike Yo paying you?
I am not at liberty. Hey, what's next on the
So anybody want foreshadowing of what the whole first period of tomorrow night's game is going to be discussed on the Fox Sports broadcast?
How great Jay Bomeister looks.
No. No. So the Flames are in town, and they have Kachuk's kid, one of two. Brady scored his first NHL goal.
He did.
Was
Congrats, Brady.
that was last night? Right?
Tonight. The puck, tonight. The
Yeah.
puck went off of him. He didn't shoot it.
That's the kind of goal that Kachuk score, though.
I'm just saying.
He did have a really sweet shot though that he did score on.
He scored his first goal tonight.
Yeah, and then I guess he had a second goal.
Okay, maybe he did a second goal. I
Yeah.
from what I watched the first part of the game, and his first goal was it went deflected off of him.
Yeah, no, there was one where I don't know, maybe it was a replay of a preseason. But what I saw on NHL Network earlier, the between period show on NBCSN, he had it was like a 2-on-1. He took a shot from the slot, beat the goalie clean.
Okay.
It was nice.
All right.
Anyway, Darren Peng just tweeted out, looking forward to game 3 on Thursday night at Enterprise Center as Chuck E. Cheese faces off against old teammate Robert Thomas, who now resides at the Kachuk residence.
Yes, because they both played on the London
right.
Knights together.
Correct. So we'll hear 5 times about how he's staying at Kachuk's house.
Oh, yeah.
And is very well fed, I assume.
And the and yeah, oh, that's yeah. And there's apparently a story about not touching the remote. I'm sure they'll talk about that. So and
This
Kachuk
stuff writes itself.
well, Kachuk took in Bacchus.
And why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Why would they?
Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? So that's cool.
We love you, Pegger.
That's cool. But yeah, so the Blues, they do play Calgary tomorrow night, and
Yeah, real quick, I wanted to jump back on the Vince Dunn thing. Yeah, I mean, nothing else really needs to be said about it. Bill, Kurt, and I have all expressed our opinion on Yo and how he still plays the dinosaur game that Ken Hitchcock played. But to me, and I don't know how Armstrong feels, Armstrong admitted Ken Hitchcock was his best friend. Letting go his best friend was hard for him. Mike Yo is not his best friend. So if he keeps scratching guys who clearly do not deserve to be scratched, and then they end up losing, Mike Yo could be out of the job. And I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but I'm saying if this trend continues,
yeah,
Mike Yo's job does not look safe.
Especially when you're scratching a guy with Dunn's potential and talent level. He's not
Right.
a Butler type
Right.
player.
He took a risk. It was one bad play.
Yeah.
You don't punish him for that.
That happened last year too. He made a
Right.
bad play in a game, one bad play that led to a goal,
Right.
and he got scratched the next game. It's like, God, you know what?
And he did that every time Tage Thompson made a
Yes.
mistake, he took periods off.
Yeah.
And that you can't have coaches that manage that way, that you can't make any mistakes. Young players have to learn from their mistakes.
And if
you
you're-
have to give them air to do that.
And if you're going to bench a player who is not playing as well as they should, then you should be benching Bomeister.
Yes.
Because I mean, I get it. He's had a fantastic career, but he has regressed. He is not the player he was.
No.
I don't think anybody expects him to return to that level. So it's
No,
not like, okay, we got to keep
he's
him.
a third pairing guy
Yeah,
at this point in his
right.
career.
Right. And I think it didn't do him a service to have him because of the injuries he was playing with on the top line with Petrangelo.
Right.
So that was out of his element at this point in his career. So hopefully if Edmondson plays tomorrow and we got Bomeister back, Bortuzzo back, hopefully I think he's on the second pairing now, isn't he? I thought they had him on the second pairing.
Well, we'll see. Because you got to ease Edmondson into the game.
Right. Edmondson was paired with Petrangelo though in
Right.
practice, so that's
No.
I mean, everyone knows my thoughts on Bomeister. I know you guys share the same, but and not to get back into the game against Chicago, but there was a point where I think it was Kane. I mean, granted, Kane is an excellent skater, one of the best in the NHL, one of the best in the world, but he just flat out walked Jay Bomeister. I think it was in the first period, and had a good scoring chance on Jake Allen. And it's like that guy is not, he can't keep up with the elite skaters of the league. And like Bill said, third pairing guy.
Yep.
But Mike Yo is going to keep throwing him out there in pressure situations against these top guys when a guy like Vince Dunn should be playing more minutes. And I'm not saying Vince Dunn is the greatest defenseman in the world. He's not. He's an okay defenseman. But I trust Vince Dunn's ability to get back into a play more than I trust Jay Bouwmeester's at this point in his career. Jay Bouwmeester 4 years ago, yeah, he gets walked by Kane. He's still sticking with him, and he's still able to get back and cut down angles and keep Kane to the outside. But, I mean, it's clear as day. He just does not keep up with the top talent in the league anymore, and that's fine. All right? But stop using him in that way.
And I think he won't be used that way with a healthy defense as much.
Hopefully.
Right. But the thing is that with Dunn being, defensively being an average guy, he will also in the offensive zone create opportunities and points in the offensive zone if given the playing time. So I think he will make up for any shortcomings in the defensive zone. And to be honest, they're not as prevalent as Bouwmeester's are anyway. So it's a net positive in the defensive zone, and it's a huge net positive in the offensive zone for Dunn, generally speaking, of course. So I don't know exactly the mindset other than Yo's being, he's a veteran, he's making a lot more money, he's going to play. Do we want to talk about Joe Vitale's comments on KMOX today? Because it's going to be more Allen bashing. I'll read them. Actually, I have the. Do I have the clip here? I think I have the clip. Do I? Yes.
Vamp.
Where is it? Looking. Vamp.
So I was walking down the street today. Nobody walks down the street anymore. That's a bad vamp.
Who doesn't walk down the street?
Oh, come on. You really walk around the streets of St. Louis nowadays?
Oh, I don't live in St. Louis.
You walk around the streets of Edwardsville all the time?
Sometimes.
Only during farmers market.
Oh, that's a good point.
Okay, here, I think let's try this here.
What a great vamp that was.
This is Joe Vitale on KMOX, interview by Tom Ackerman.
Hockey-wise, I think we've seen 10 goals in the first two games, and the biggest thing that I've seen is the defensive zone needs to be kind of cleaned up quite a bit. And Mike Yo addressed that after the second meeting, where the defensemen and the forwards in the D zone just not cleaning up in areas. They're not being hard in front of the net. They're not being tough to play against. And you saw it was pretty evident as the Jets and Chicago kind of rolled in here and put 5 up each game.
And that makes it hard on Jake Allen, doesn't it? Not excusing him now. He's given up a lot of goals, but they could play better in front of him.
Yeah, the flack that Jake Scott, in my opinion, is completely unwarranted. You look at some great goalies around the league, Tuukka Rask, Marc-Andre Fleury, Matt Murray, all, debuting with 5 goals against. And the reason for that is that, teams still got a little bit of those bad habits from the summer. They're not kind of honed in yet. They're not being tough to play against. And that's very evident here with the St. Louis Blues. And Jake, he has let up 10 goals in 2 games, but the defense in front of him and the forwards helping out down low has not been where the Blues needed to be. You look at a couple goals there in the Blackhawks game, the rebound goals, one with Taves and the other one was Kruger, just sitting all alone in front. And we have 2 blue bodies sitting right there, but not taking the body, not taking the stick. If the Blues can clean up those kind of things, it's really going to help Jake, and it's going to help the team moving forward.
Okay.
Real quick, I just want to say that he's right. But bad habits, it's not just the defense. I think it's Jake Allen too.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I think he's right, and he's also wrong. And here's why I say that. He's right about the defense, 100%. We've talked about it. They need to be better. The Corsi stats back that up. It's not just dumbasses' opinions. The keyboard, what was it? The
keyboard warriors,
tough guys.
I've never seen so many keyboard tough guys in my life.
So
stop it,
Jeff Bond. However,
By the way, is this a good time to mention that I do not own the LGB Radio Twitter account? That is all Kurt Price.
However, what bothers me about what Vitaly said in the clip, he compares Allen to Rask, Fleury, and Murray, who have all won cups.
No, different
right.
leagues, different leagues entirely.
Yeah, and so they have the pedigree, they have the hardware. You can't say, oh well, they've had slow starts. Jake Allen was not at their level before. So and a slow start with them can be excused because they've shown they can play at a sustained elite level. Allen has a recent history of shitty hockey, and he has no cups. So you can't compare him to those guys. The criticism of Allen is warranted because he was the huge elephant in the room coming into the season, and that's not just not knowing their ass from a hole in the ground. From social media fans, that's sentiments from experts around the league, as well as the computer models that are pumping out the things before the season, which we talked about. And and people that are on the Blues payroll and KMOX's payroll, they say certain things that they're not going to be overly critical. And the thing is that when Allen has been singled out, he's a single entity. He's not part of a defense or part of an offense. So everyone always is very quick, and I've done this. Everyone's always very quick to rally around and defend and not blame your goalie. I get it. The Tarasenko's been very vocal about not blaming Allen. It's on the team loss or a team win. It's on the defense. We got to be better. I get it, but and Vitaly is the same way. He's going to protect the single entity that's been singled out and blame it on a defense, which is a group of players who can diffuse the blame over a group of people and not single out one person entirely. So it's totally natural for Vitaly to say this, but I think people have to understand that he's just protecting Jake Allen. He's not really speaking from being honest. You know what I mean?
Right. I think the start of the season, and I mentioned this a couple of times in our group chats, and I think at least once on Twitter. The start of the season is the worst case scenario for Jake Allen. He's given up 10 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, and not getting the support.
Right. He doesn't have a backup goalie that we can rely on long term. Doug Armstrong did him a huge, it was a huge risk for Doug Armstrong to say, you know what, Chad Johnson, he's our backup this year. We're going to go ahead and bring him in. And, this will tell Jake he's number one. There's not somebody there. And it's not, it hasn't started well. The Bronx cheer, I was angry about the Bronx cheer again, because I hate that his confidence is going to get eroded in the first game of the year, but it's just not at this point. What else are we going to expect? We're stupid to expect Jake Allen to take this team into the playoffs. It's not logical.
Were you surprised at the at the Bronx cheering that he got? I mean,
surprised? That's
I don't know. Like I said before, I think I was just annoyed that Panger brought it up, because it was like he made it into an issue where it's like you hear that kind of shit all the time. It's just, whether it's warranted, I heard it and I cringed. I'm like, oh man, don't do that to him.
Right, and that's it. It pissed me off again. But coming from the goalie perspective, that it's just going to erode his confidence. It's give him a break the first fucking game of the season. But
isn't that kind of telling though that
it is
a Bronx cheer to a goalie is going to like kill his confidence and like ruin a season?
Right.
That's like, come on.
And that's the thing. That's the more I've thought about it, he's fragile.
Well, yeah. The rumor was that he was seeing a psychiatrist in the offseason, which I'd probably think more goalies should probably do.
What do you What are you saying?
Not you in particular.
What are you saying?
I was just maybe you should. Maybe you should go. Actually, have you ever?
Do you know what? Do you know? I know where you live.
Right. I know you're in my house right now. I would hope you do.
Bill, calm down. Go see a psychiatrist.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't want to make the show all about Allen bashing because I'm sure there'll be plenty of that to go around this season. But
there are 80 games left.
There are, and like I said before, I really do hope the guy just turns it around and can play well in spite of the team that might happen to play poorly in front of him. It would be nice. And Korak said this on Twitter, and I agree with it 100%. That it's hard to say there are any a number of there was a couple, maybe one or two bad goals, I guess you could say, but it's hard to really blame any of these losses on Allen or these goals on Allen too much when the team in front of him is playing the way they are. However, it would be nice if he would come up with some huge saves, some saves that he isn't expected to make a little more often.
Yes.
And that's exactly where that's where I stand. I'm like, you don't have to be the best goalie in the league. You know, make the save you're supposed to make and a handful you're not supposed to make. Right. And then hopefully the team can score enough, you'll win.
Slightly in Allen's defense. Goal scoring has been ridiculous to open the season.
It has.
Around the league. I mean, we're seeing 7-0, 7-6,
sure.
7-4 games, and it's just been crazy. It's it'll level out, and you gotta hope that it's gonna level out. It's going to level out for Jake Allen as well.
You know what that worries me? If offense is up this season, it kind of worries me that our goaltender is not playing at a higher level.
A little bit.
That if there's gonna be a lot more chances against him, that concerns me.
It always happens every year. Either offense is really up to start the year or offense is really down to start the year. It'll level out. It's going to be fine. You just have to hope again that if it levels out for 30 NHL teams, it's going to level out for the Blues as well.
So Korak tweeted today that Edmondson, which we kind of touched on earlier, said he wants to get through the morning skate tomorrow before making a decision, but he looks good to go. Said he feels really good. So I think that can only help things. The Blues have proven in the past, especially late last season, that they play much better with him in the lineup and they don't play as well with him out. That was part of the issue to end the season last year. So, and from Jeff Jones today on Twitter, he tweeted out something that just makes you, I mean, it's something, it's a stat that's out there you can see, but he said, Mike Yeo has coached 4 82-game seasons in the Central Division. Here's where his teams have finished: 4th, 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 5th. So you see that and you're like, well, son of a bitch.
When you look at someone like Bruce Boudreau, who, yeah, I mean, his playoff success has been lacking, but that's a guy who finishes first almost every year.
Yep.
And it's like the polar opposite with the Blues head coach.
So I think it's shitty to see in writing, but yeah.
We have a mediocre coach.
I texted you when we got him, when we signed him. I was like, well, I'm not crazy about this. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling Yo.
There's a lot of hope in Doug Armstrong's decision making. I think that's a conclusion that I've reached at least this evening. Jake Allen, #1 goaltender. Mike Yeo, head coach, long term.
How long is Yo's leash?
Well, okay, it depends. Whose leash is shorter, Allen's or Yo's? Like if we're at December and we're under 500,
I think.
But here's the difference, though. I mean, and we've talked about this before. How easy is it to fire your head coach? You can't fire your goalie.
Right.
It's going to be hard to trade him.
It comes down to replacement. It's a lot easier to replace a head coach than it is to replace a starting goalie.
That's true.
He not to bring up the name of my least favorite coach ever, but when you hitch your wagon to a starting goalie who doesn't ever perform, it's a much more dire situation trying to figure out the replacement than it is for head coach.
And again, it's 2 games.
It
but
is. It is.
But I think I've said this on Twitter a number of times that it's 2 games, but then again, Allen is under a microscope. Yo to a lesser degree, but he still is.
Right. And at this point, do we expect anything different from Jake Allen? It's every year going for the last at least 4 seasons. It's been, well, this is make or break year for Jake Allen. Well,
it's funny.
2 games in, it feels like he's broken. And I wanted to change. I wanted to turn around, but and maybe it's a function of the fact that we've had, we played 2 games and we've been off 5, so we've had a lot of time to stew on this. But damn, I don't like the prospects.
It's almost like there are some people out there that never want to blame or give credit to the goaltending for anything. There are a number of people out there that when you bring up Elliott's name, oh no, he played in front of a fantastic defensive team. And then so that was on the defense. So the Elliott's success was on the defense. And then now it's Allen's struggles are, oh no, well, the defense is just crumbling in front of him. And there's some truth to both. I mean, it's a team game, but it's just kind of funny that it's, for some people it's never the goaltending, when really the goaltender might be the most important position on the ice, to be honest.
So let me ask, over the history of your fandom of the St. Louis Blues, who was the best goalie in the team?
Patrick O'Leary.
That I've seen. They're my fandom.
Yes.
Oh man, it's a Joseph Elliott toss up. I think it really is. I mean, Elliott's got the numbers. He leads goals against average, save percentage. He's the all-time leader in both shutouts. He's got the stats, and I don't give all the credit to the D on that with him.
I think he works well in the system.
I would say I do too, and I would say Joseph. I'd put Joseph ahead of Elliott, just because I think it's kind of common knowledge, or it's widely thought, that Joseph is the best goalie not to be in the Hall of Fame. So, or to never win a cup, I guess, or whatever it is.
See, I would actually go with Grant Fuhr.
Okay, well, he didn't play here as long. That's why I said that.
He didn't play here as long, but if Kyprios doesn't end his season, I think the Blues win the cup.
Yeah. I mean, if assuming they get past Detroit that year, I thought Casey played pretty well against Detroit.
He did.
So,
but Grant Fuhr's not going to.
No, I know.
Up. That's a glove side shot for Grant Fuhr.
Oh yeah, it is, and that's a glove save, and the glove save is a strong point.
Right. And Jeff, just so in case you're missing this, we're talking about the Yzerman goal that you have to talk about every season.
Every show, every damn show, you guys have to bring that up. So my answer to that question, it's 100% with Kurt, as much as I hate to give him credit. It's got to be Curtis Joseph, just because the inordinate amount of shots that man faced in that awful defense they had there a couple of years there. And then even after that, when he was facing 25, 30 shots a game, he still was an elite NHL netminder. And then, but I put Brian Elliott second. And I know our friend Chris Frank over at the Blues Hockey Podcast is screaming at his iPod right now.
Oh,
but
yeah. Well, you know what though? I mean, stats rarely lie, unless
and
minus.
And I'm sorry, but I know that he didn't have his best series against the San Jose Sharks his last year with the Blues there. But I mean, we talk about Jake Allen, how the Blues don't get past the Wild without him in that series. The Blues don't get past that Dallas Stars offense. They don't get past the Chicago Blackhawks without Brian Elliott in goal. I mean, he was phenomenal in those series.
Right. Yeah. That was a huge. I mean, we didn't win the cup that year, but beating Chicago in 7 games, that was a monster win. Just to kind of get over the hump of beating Chicago. That was huge. That was like a mini Stanley Cup in St. Louis to beat those guys in that series.
Yeah. And the fact that, the end of that playoff year, Elliott forced the decision, and and Armstrong said, "Well, if that's your case, how do you like Calgary?"
Yeah,
and
he hasn't been the same since. It's a different system, a different. I get it, but
yeah, I mean,
that happens a lot too.
As a lot of people pointed out on Twitter, how many goals did he give up last night? 8.
Yeah,
8 goals.
Right. However, I watched the intro to the Flyers game tonight, and I mean, you can take it with a grain of salt because their apologists
were Yuri Laterra's fault.
Their apologists, McClement and the broadcast crew, they're gonna defend Allen like Pang defended him against the Jeers. But they were saying that those goals weren't on Elliott. I didn't see them, but that's what they said. And they said the team quit in front of him, but he didn't. He was battling the whole way. So, I mean, it is what it is.
You talk to Red Wings fans, and they'll tell you that Curtis Joseph is one of the most overrated goalies in the NHL. That's because by the time you got to Detroit, he wasn't the Curtis Joseph we saw in St. Louis and Edmonton and even Toronto.
Was it the series against Anaheim where he was with Detroit, where that was a goaltender's duel?
Right, Jaguar
and I want to say Joseph put up an under 2 GAA in that series and lost it.
Jaguar, that is the greatest goaltending performance I have ever witnessed in my life.
That was amazing.
Jaguar single-handedly got the Ducks to the Stanley Cup final. I mean, and that was also the debut of Mike Babcock, head coaching genius. But Jaguar, to this day, like, you show me any of those games in that series against Detroit, Jaguar was phenomenal. Best goaltending performance that I can recall in my lifetime.
He's one of those guys too that has had an up and down career. He had some great years and some years that were like, the hell's going on with Jaguar?
Right. He's drafted by the Hartford Whalers, traded to the Calgary Flames, was a nobody until he wound up in Anaheim. And he was just, he was a goalie on a hot run. That God, I absolutely loved that series.
Outside of Pronger's contract, isn't Jaguar the last Hartford Whaler
that played in the NHL?
Yeah.
I believe you are correct. Because he outlasted Jeff O'Neill. I think Jeff O'Neill was right up there.
Yeah, so use that for your next trivia night, Blues fans.
Which I'm sure is a common question.
Yes.
Let's do want to do social media fails?
Yeah.
Blues social media fails. I got a few on here from you didn't add any, did you? I have a different copy of this.
I did not.
Okay. So we got a few here from on Twitter. And so there's been a lot of interesting things being said after the first 2 games of this season. But on October 7th, Zero Pucks to Give says that Jake Allen is the man. Retweet if you agree. And he had his 4.91 GAA, which is 40th out of 45 goalies in the NHL, and his 818 save percentage, which is 44th out of 45. He's the man.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that Jake. I mean, Chris Pronger would have a bad night, and I would defend the guy. You know what? Players have off nights. So Chris Pronger. Let's face it, Chris Pronger never had an off night. But if he ever did, I would have defended him. And so I get it. I get defending your guy, but this is not the time. Zero pucks to give.
Well, there's a few. So buckle up. There's a few more.
Can I take the second one?
Right ahead.
So our friend, somebody who I enjoy sometimes on Twitter.
How do you enjoy them?
How do you enjoy them?
Oh, shut up. Don't call me Mr. Blues Hat. Ha ha! Take that.
Past 11, he's asleep.
This is from Leah CK55. And anyone who follows her knows that she could be a fun follow. But she also has some things to say that we disagree with. We don't deserve Tarasenko. Next thing idiot Blues fans will do is run him out of town. Just saying, with how stupid Blues fans are, I won't be surprised if it happens. Quick to place blame on anyone.
You know what that's from? That's in response to, right?
What?
That's the response to all the Allen criticism that's been going on.
Okay.
She's basically a huge Allen supporter. So I mean, that's basically, oh, they'll attack Allen, so let's hope they don't run Tarasenko out of town too for defending Allen.
Different situation, obviously.
Yeah, I thought it was yeah.
And I don't get the whole don't deserve Tarasenko. I mean, Anaheim Ducks fans would tell you that
the people commenting are fans and don't know their ass from a hole in the ground.
Thank you, Jim.
That's gonna be used a lot.
I mean, honestly, it's a great comment.
Oh, and she says for the next one, you want to take that one, Bill, or you want me to take it?
You can go ahead and do it.
All right. So this is from Leah CK55 again. No, Allen's not perfect. No goalie is, but would y'all be saying what you're saying if we won this game? If we won Thursday's game? Probably not. Just sick of this shit, LMAO. Stop the blame game and take a look at the team as a whole. You know what? We didn't win the game, so that's the thing.
There's some truth to it. The team played shitty defense, but Jake Allen played shitty goaltending.
And here's the deal. Last season, we've said this a lot. Last season, we won a lot to start the season. Really, we did really well.
And Schwartz got injured in Detroit,
right? But when we were winning, Allen wasn't playing very
Right.
well. He had a 2.7 plus GAA.
Right.
He wasn't playing very good when we were winning, and people weren't really complaining about Allen, but we were. I was. I said, you know what? He needs to be better because the offense might dry up.
And then it did. When Schwartz got injured.
Right. And
Well, that was when the defense was just scoring
Yes.
relentlessly too.
Edmondson had 4 goals in 6 games.
Yep.
Carl Gunnarsson.
Yes.
I
The
miss
team-
Carl.
The team was playing very well in front of him. And the thing is that he still wasn't putting up good numbers. And we were winning, and people weren't saying that stuff about him. And so she's right there. But it doesn't mean that people will be wrong for being critical of him because he wasn't playing very well. It doesn't make any sense to me. You want to take the last one, Jeff?
Sure. If this is from atom39 on Twitter, he says, if you think Allen is the issue, then you have a problem. This team defensively is the problem. Too many dumb pinches, plus they can't move the puck up the ice. Rewatch the highlights and you will see. Again, like Bill just said, he's right. I mean, he's right. The problem was the defense. I think if the defense plays better, they at least have a chance of winning that first game, and I think they definitely win that second game. But again, and like Lou Korak said, you kind of need your goalie to step up and make a big save at some point. And that just still 2 games in has not happened.
Allen is part of the issue.
It's the whole team.
And Allen is part of the issue. I don't know why people insist on it being one or the other. It almost always is not just one thing that's a problem if there's a problem with a team. It's always a combination of things. And right now, it's the defensive zone coverage and to a lesser degree the goaltending. I think that's a fair statement.
I think we can all agree with that.
Yep.
So
does 5 days off and Joel Edmondson probably coming back change anything? What's your prognostication for tomorrow night?
I think that this team's going to
not procrastination or
procrastinatory.
Yeah.
I think this team is going to play a lot better because Vince Dunn's not in the lineup.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I mean, they should be a better team than Calgary. I don't know. We didn't talk about O'Reilly, and he has four assists in 2 games.
Right.
So it's been fantastic.
And his faceoffs ungodly.
73.3%.
At one point in the game the other night, he had over 90% of his faceoffs woods.
Yeah. And Bozak is seems like like he's terrible, but he's winning 57 compared to O'Reilly. So he's been good.
Right.
So and that's fantastic because that was an issue last year.
Translate that. You know what translates that into like a palpable tactile stat? Shots that from the fucking defense that hit the net.
Yeah, right. Win the face off, crash the net, take a shot. That's kind of hockey 101.
Yes.
So, but I think with I don't know how quickly Edmonton will be in game shape, but so that's an issue, a worry. How good will he be tomorrow? They're not playing a fantastic team, and we're at home. I'm gonna say we win tomorrow. I'm gonna say we win something like 3-2 tomorrow.
3-2 regulation.
I'll say 4-2 regulation. Empty net goal.
Empty net goal.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, Bill, I don't know if 4 days off, 5 days off, whatever. I don't know if that's the answer. I don't know if it's going to change anything. I hope it does. But what I want and what I'm looking forward to is Saturday the 13th in Chicago. Yes. And then mostly after the Anaheim game on Sunday, which I'll be at, they hit the road for 3 games. They hit a Canada swing. They go Montreal, Toronto, and Winnipeg, the 15th through the 24th. That is what I'm looking forward to, because I think what this team needs is to hit the road. They need to get out of St. Louis. They need to stay in the hotels with each other. They all need to get together. I think there is a aspect of playing on the road that helps teams. And I think the togetherness you have on the road on top of just not feeling, because let's face it, this team feels pressure, especially after that first game with the Bronx cheers. This team's feeling pressure from its fan base, which is warranted. I'm not saying it's not, but I think getting on the road and getting away from what you know and the known of, okay, I'm going to go to practice and then go home, take a nap, come back up to the rink, get away from that. And I think that is going to be what helps this team. So that's what I think is going to help this team, not the 4 or 5 days off. But I do see a better game tomorrow night from the Blues.
So you touched on the Canadian swing. Are there 3 worse teams to be playing in the NHL right now?
That's a good point.
The Canadians, obviously, I've covered this ad nauseum over the course of our podcast. I'm a huge Canadians fan. How the fuck are they doing what they're doing so far?
What is their differential here?
Yeah, it's insane. They've beat the Penguins 5-1 on Saturday. They've only played 2 games.
Yeah.
They lost to the Leafs in overtime first game. But they beat the Penguins 5-1 Saturday night. Tomorrow night, I'm definitely tuning in tomorrow night. Any athletic subscribers out there who haven't read the Lyle Odeline story, almost died from a rare blood infection.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So tomorrow night is the 25th anniversary of the Canadiens' 1993 team that beat the Kings in the playoffs. Home opener, they're celebrating them before the game against the Kings. And this will be like Lyle Odeline's first time back out. He was kind of a second, third line defenseman back in 93 for them. Wound up going on to a pretty solid NHL career, but I am tuning in just to see the ovation that he gets. And yeah, it should be interesting. But do you want to go up against that team that is right now they have belief, and it's going to be a tough game. The Maple Leafs, Holy shit. They could torch Allen for 12 goals in one period.
Yeah. They've got 20 goals in 4 games.
Austin Matthews and John Tavares are going to score 2 goals each in that game, at least, if not the first 5 minutes of that game.
That game sucks.
It's going to be bad.
You know what?
I don't think this is going to happen.
They're going to start Johnson in that game.
Yeah,
I bet you they do.
Yeah, smart move.
I bet
Smart
you they do.
move they do.
I don't think this is going to happen, but let's say the Blues make it all the way to that Maple Leafs game on the 20th, and they still don't have a win. What happens to Mike Yeo? Is he still with the team?
They'd be 0-6, or without a win.
5-1.
Yeah, assuming there's no OTOs, since or no more OTOs. Okay, well, if they're 5-1, then yeah, there's a lot of rumblings for Yo's job.
Who did they replace him with?
Berube?
I don't know. I'd have to look into it and see. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
That's
Dave Tippett.
No, he's hitched to the Seattle franchise. That they haven't granted it yet, but he is part of that group now.
That's
going anywhere.
Just wait until the offseason.
They're going the Vegas route. They've got their guy early, and they're going to stick with him.
Just wait until the offseason and sign Quenneville.
Yeah, I think that may be it. Just throw in the towel this season and bring Quenneville back. Hopefully that he can get the team to go over the hump just 1 year before he rides off in the sunset.
Let's just hope that we don't actually have that conversation in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think they win tomorrow. I think they. I mean, I think having the 4 days off is. I'd rather have 4 days off after 2 games like that than after 2 wins.
Right. And Calgary has not been good so far this year.
Right.
They lost to the Canucks. The Canucks are probably the second worst team in hockey, and Calgary couldn't.
How'd they do tonight? What happened tonight? Did the Flames play tonight? They won. They won or lost tonight.
Did they play tonight?
Did they? How they did?
Back to back?
I don't think
Okay. Maybe not. Okay.
I don't think that it's.
All right.
Mm.
Yeah, they play tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, against the Blues.
Oh yeah. What am I thinking? Jeez. Oh my God.
It's late.
I was like, they play tomorrow against. Oh yeah, the Blues. We just talked about that.
You've had a rough night, my friend.
It's been one of those days.
Oh, too much fun.
Right. Anything else? Any other tweets? We look at Twitter. No.
Yeah, we got a couple. So from DC, who is at Red Panda 79, he says, "I heard that Ponder guy is a big Eric Brewer fan. Huge. Like he buys his used He buys his used toothbrushes and toenail clippings on eBay."
Wow.
I don't know who told you that. I thought that was in confidence. I was hoping nobody else would find that out. And then in the YouTube chat, we've got a couple of comments here. Trying to find something that's irrelevant. Brady has 2 goals tonight, last I checked. From Aaron Knox. Our friend Deanna says he scored first and second goal tonight. So that was from our conversation earlier. Aaron Knox also says, "Bill, I can see you playing SimCity."
Sorry.
Was that what you were doing?
I was checking in.
I was trying to figure out what you were doing because I could see it too.
I was checking in. Wasn't.
And then Aaron Knox also adds, "Goal scoring hasn't been this high since 93, 94, I think." Aaron, I want to say I heard that same stat, so I think you're correct.
And again, we'll see if that holds up. I can't imagine that will.
No, it's not. It always levels out every year. Like I said, it either the goalies just put on a clinic and rack up shutout after shutout, or offenses just take control. And by November, everything starts leveling out again.
Okay.
The Game Time folks are getting on the Retire 44 hashtag.
They have been for a while, haven't they?
Justin W. and Art Lippo both retweeting the STL Blues history account tonight with the hashtag Retire 44
for Jason Arnott.
Wait, who else?
Daryl Storr.
Mario
Marois. Yeah.
Mario Marois. Brett Hedican, didn't he wear 44 too?
I think he did.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, because he couldn't wear 3 here. Guess off.
Oh God, I know there's a Patrice Tardif.
We've got Mario Marois, Brett Hedican, Terry Hollinger, Chris Pronger, Daryl Sador, and Jason Arnott.
Okay.
Who let Daryl Sador wear 44? I'm sorry.
It was a Hitchcock team.
Ah,
That wasn't Hitchcock, was it? Wasn't it?
2010.
yeah, that was Hitchcock.
2010 was Hitchcock. I thought he was 2011.
Was
That was Davis Payne, 2010.
Yeah, I thought they fired Davis Payne real early.
They did. Well, he had 1.5 seasons or 1 season here.
I didn't think it was a full season.
I thought Payne had 1 season and that was it.
He had 1.5 seasons, I thought.
Okay.
All right. We're going to figure this out now because I'm sure there are people screaming at their phones right now because we don't know this offhand. Davis Payne coached from 2010 to 2012. So I was correct. So fuck you guys.
Wow. Okay.
Don't piss Jeff off tonight.
I thought it was a clean hit. That's what I thought.
Man, you were really procrastinatory in playing that clip.
Well, I didn't. I forgot about it.
Last minute.
All right. I think that's gonna do it for this show.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up.
We're an hour and a half in.
Yeah, we're more than that. That'll do it for this week's episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. Check out the website at letsgoblues.com/radio. And we didn't mention that we have an Instagram account now, which we'll do that to start the show next week. But yes, we have an Instagram account now. It's LGB Radio on Instagram. So follow that if you want to see some
all your seductive photos of Jeff.
Yes. Put some Speedo shots up there and everything. Be cool.
Yes.
Great.
So many dirty, nasty photos.
Don't do that.
What? Blues 5K pictures. There's one of Kurt giving Louie a high five.
Yeah, my proudest moment as an adult.
I do want to point out, I was going to try to make it the whole show without saying this. So obviously, Kurt, there's a picture of him crossing the line, giving Louie a high five. So that means that whoever took that picture finished ahead of him.
I wasn't there.
So I wonder who that was.
Right. I'm gonna say that you finished ahead of me because of my my IT bands on my knees were acting up about mile 2, so I had to walk for about half mile, and you beat me by like a minute. So
I also actually just never left. I just stayed in the same spot until you showed up.
Yes.
I never actually ran the race. I just waited.
That makes more sense. That was fun though.
Yeah, Kurt and I finished in under 13 minutes? Is that right?
13 minutes, yes.
What?
The
113 minutes was it?
I was like 31 and Jeff was like
29, 38, I think is what I was.
Yep.
I got home. My wife was like, she just kind of gives me a look when I walk in. I go, well, I won. And she goes, what do you mean? I'm like, I won. I won the whole thing.
Get my medal?
And so I haven't said that. I go, look at my medal. I won. And she's like, you didn't win anything. I'm like, why do you doubt me? Come on. I won. I won. Tell me I won.
I think the winner finished in like, was it 13 minutes or 16 minutes? 16 minutes maybe?
You know what? Okay, here's a little radio rant, which is, it's more funny than anything. I'm not actually mad about this. But I run a lot of 5Ks, 10Ks. You know what's insulting to me is when I'm getting like, I'm like got a mile left and I'm like, all right, I'm getting there. I'm almost done. And then you see the guys who have already finished and they're running back through the race. Did you notice that, Kurt?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, screw you.
Run.
Maybe it's I'm wearing my medal back through you people who haven't finished yet. You got like a half mile to go yet.
That's what it feels like.
I finished. I'm here. I'm eating my protein bar, and here's my smoothie, and I've got my medal, and I'm just walking back or jogging back.
There was like 10 of them. They all finished first because I saw them. Because there's a couple times where you pass, you have to turn around. So I saw them at the front of the line earlier in the race, and I'm, like I said, I'm on like 2.1, 2.2 miles, and these guys are already like running back towards me, and I'm thinking, can you please just run another direction? I feel like such a damn loser.
Yeah. So your time this year was improved though, Kurt.
It was, and
you were at 34 last year.
Yeah,
right?
well, I had issues last year too. But
Right.
the thing, and I a few weeks ago, I was like, okay, I did like a test run of like 2-3 miles. I'm like, oh, my knees are fine, but I don't know what it was, but the hills in Forest Park just killed me, and that IT band on that side of my knee just flared up, and it was painful. So it was fine. It was warm too that day.
Yeah.
Not
really. It was warm. It was much warmer than I thought it would be.
Warm for 9 a.m. Granted, 9 a.m. is kind of late start for a race, but it was warm and it was sunny and it was
right at that point. The sun's up over the trees. It's
right.
gonna bake you.
Yeah, and it was fine, and it was. And I was hoping for under 30 minutes, and if I hadn't had that issue, I'd have been at like, I don't know, 26 or 7 or 8 or something. And I was going too fast early because I was on pace for about 25.
Right.
And I'm like, ooh.
Twice in my life have I run in under 35K, and that was solo. I'm not having to dodge strollers or anything like that.
The one we did, the craft beer week one a couple years ago, that was I think I was at 29 something.
One.
Yeah, I was at 29 something.
And I was not.
And so that was the very first 5K I ever did. So and
mine too.
Yeah, and I was like, oh. And I ran the whole way, and I didn't walk once, and my knees were fine then. But
you're old.
Well, I ran a half marathon in Louisiana, and that hurt my knees. Well, the Go St. Louis one last year, holy hell, that I couldn't hardly walk after it because my knees were killing me so bad. I ignored it most of the race.
Plus, Kurt, you're failing to mention that I actually took a crowbar to both your knees right before we started.
Nancy Kerrigan to me.
Yes.
Yeah, and you just kept yelling, "Why? Why?"
You do look like Jeff Gillooly.
I take that as a compliment.
All right. That'll do it for this week's episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. Again, for Jeff Ponder and Bill Dam, Kurt Price, that will conclude this week's broadcast of Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. A look at fourth. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to #1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues.